Trapped in his own body, a Valley man's heart was beating, but he couldn't do anything.
He was awake but paralyzed, listening to conversations on whether his wife would take him off life support. He didn't want to die. He needed that ventilator.
Some doctors thought that he was in a vegetative state, but actually he was alert, and his wife had his life in her hands. New at 10, William Pitts with an incredible and a scary report.
The neurologist kept coming in and showing people how I had no reflexes by sticking a pin in the bottom of my foot. And I could feel it hurt like hell.
Mike Dils couldn't scream, couldn't move, couldn't tell anyone he was still alive.
You know, told my wife that I'd been better off if I died when I coded.
Mike had had a stroke. He was in the hospital, paralyzed, intubated, eyes open, but unmoving.
They just said, this is as good as it gets. This is how he will be forever.
His wife Cheryl had a decision to make. Mike had always said he didn't want to live this way, but she couldn't do it. Cheryl thought Mike was still in there, somewhere.
I prayed about it, and I wanted a sign the next day, and I wanted it clear.
She went to his hospital room to ask if he wanted to die.
I said, you know what's going on. And, he blinked once, which was yes. And I said, do you want to live? And he blinked. And I thought, well, there we go.
Mike was still there, desperately trying to tell anyone not to kill him.
What I thought is, okay, go ahead, I'm going to make it anyway.
Mike had something called locked-in syndrome. It's a rare condition where stroke patients are paralyzed, but their mind is fine. They're locked in their own bodies. Mike's daughter was the first to realize it.
She figured out that if she did the alphabet, I could blink my eyes on the red letter.
That's how it started, a long road to a miraculous recovery. He overheard a nurse talking to another patient.
I know you can't move your leg, but you gotta tell yourself you can move your leg. So when I heard that, I thought, well, that's what I'm gonna do. And so
it's hard for Mike to remember the long struggle alone in his mind for months. Now, almost a year later, Mike can speak, walk, even tackle the stairs. He's one of an incredibly small number of people who have recovered. Cheryl sometimes thinks about how close she came to giving up on her husband.
I do. And I'm just so grateful I didn't. And I have to attribute it to my faith.
I think it was divine intervention.
And Mike says he knows he's incredibly lucky, but he says he also thinks about other coma patients and wonders how many of them were not so lucky. William Pitts, 12 News.
Unbelievable story, William.